There's a structural deficit of housing in Ontario.
Yes.
And it's why people continue to buy apartment buildings at the rate they do, even though...
So that's a great question. So what I'm seeing is a lot of fear.
Well, if it goes by anything like our last podcast guest that was came on last week,
Yeah.
He thinks we could go to 7-8%.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't have enough supply to support all the new immigration coming in this country. So if prices have only dropped, let's say 10%, give or take, in the last 1 year, what will happen when rates start to come back down?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mark Loeffler Experience. We got Ash Alice. He's a realtor, he's a flipper, he's a triplex converter. You guys don't want to miss this episode. It's jam-packed, it's quick, it's fast. Comment down below. Do you like what Ash is doing? Do you think he's a smart guy? I don't think he's as smart as Brandon, but we still like him. Ash Alice.
How you doing, Mark?
Superstar realtor, superstar investor. What don't you do? Great family man.
I wish I could travel more, but yeah.
Yeah, fair.
But on the real estate,
it seems like you're always traveling.
Yeah.
Where was the last place you were?
I was in Florida for the summer. We actually ended up staying there for a month. It was kind of exciting.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not why I called you here
Yes.
today. So the reason I called you here today, Ash, because I know you're wondering, because you
Yeah.
sent me 5 emails about what we're going to talk about today. I know that you run a decent sized real estate team. You're in the same markets I am.
Yeah.
Let's talk markets. Let's talk real estate markets. So we're filming this on October 5th, just before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Canadian Thanksgiving for all my American watchers. So what are you seeing right now in the real estate market?
Yeah. So we've got a few listings up. Things are taking a bit longer to sell. So that's something, we're training.
How many listings do you have right now?
I've got 4 listings.
Oh, that's not that.
Yeah, that's nice. 4 listings.
Rookie numbers.
Yeah. I got 4 listings and things are tracking around that 30-day mark.
If you were at KW, you'd have 12 listings.
Yeah. Over 1 year.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. So yeah, we got about 4 listings hanging around, and
How long have they been listed?
About 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we kind of.
I saw your one in Glen Abbey.
Yes. Yes.
Which is a recurring theme for you.
Yeah.
But what are the other ones in Oakville? Are they Burlington? Are they Hamilton?
Yes, I got 1 in Burlington. I have I have 2 in Burlington, and I have 1 in Hamilton, and
so which market do you think as of right now is doing a little better, a little worse, taking a little longer, a little slower?
The way I'm seeing it, the higher end price points like the Glen Abbey, they're sitting around longer because that's over $2 million, so that's sitting around a little longer. The lower price points like the starter homes, I think those are moving a little bit more. Burlington's pretty slow right now, and so is Oakville. That's what I'm seeing.
We just sold our Glen Abbey property we had listed.
Right. Okay.
And that took 6-7 weeks.
Yeah. Which was just normal, right? And depending on, was that an entry level or?
No, it was a
higher point.
3,000 plus square foot home.
There you go, right? So the entry level, we're still seeing multiple offers. That's kind of the strange thing. So the one in Burlington there, it was a lower end price point and got multiple offers.
Well, that's funny. So we set one up in Dundas, Ontario, which and this backs onto the rail trail. It's in the nice little pocket down there where it's you don't go there unless you live there type thing, right?
Yes.
From one of those types of streets, backs on literally the backyard goes onto the rail trail.
Right.
And I mean, we've been listed now for about 12 hours and we've had 16 showings. But we listed at a price that will cost it to sell. We're at $799. We think the value's over $900.
Right.
But the problem is it's such a unique property and it's like needs work and all this type of stuff. It's like, let's see what we can get.
See what you can get. And then also on the leases, so we have a couple of leases we put up, and the demand on those things, right? So
because the one you have in Glen Abbey, that's why it's a recurring theme, is because you keep leasing it out.
Yes.
So
it was for sale. That was for sale. We ended up pulling it off the market because we weren't getting the traction we wanted at that $2.5 million price point. Yeah. So we ended up going back to the leasing strategy. And you know what? It's been on the market for, what are we today? I'm getting an offer on that today.
Yeah.
And it's been for lease since Friday.
And you raised the rent on that probably,
yes, 10%. 10%.
Yeah.
10% from the last tenant who left.
And that was this time last year that you were leasing it.
That is
they
correct.
left after a year.
That is correct. Because we did talk about that one.
Well, yeah, I thought about leasing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So we're seeing different. So the answer to your question is it depends. It depends on the market. It depends on the type of price point, and it also depends on the area as well, right?
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, so you've been in the real estate market a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You have a team.
Yes.
How long you been an agent?
13 years.
13 years. Oh,
Yes.
like we're pretty similar. I'm 14.
Yes.
So, actually, like 14 like last week. Anyways, what are you seeing right now in the realtor space, or in general, like general market conditions type thing?
So that's a great question. So what I'm seeing is a lot of fear. Okay, and this is from the buyers anyways. Okay, so we're seeing buyers, a lot of fear. They're afraid to get in the market because they think rates are going to go higher or whatever it might be. And you know what? Rates might go higher. There might be another quarter point of an increase. But
well, if it goes by anything like our last podcast guest that was like came on last week, he thinks we could go to 7-8%.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But I don't think we get that high. I think
Yeah.
they adjust their target and do a bunch of different things. But
Yes.
I don't think there's political will to get to that high.
I don't think so either. We might see another quarter of a point because we're already kind of in the range of inflation or the goal anyway. Like we're close to that 2%. So we might see another uptick, but all of the pundits, they're talking about Q2, Q3, perhaps rates starting to come down.
Yeah.
And our market is based off of interest rates, I think. And if rates starts coming down, we're going to see prices
So
hopefully go back up.
interest rates, yes.
Yep.
But it's more a factor of how much they pay monthly.
Right.
Right.
The payments.
Their payments, which in Ontario, yes, it's a factor of the interest plus their purchase price and down
Right.
payment and all those types of things, right?
Yes.
So yes, I mean it's one of the factors on it. But people buy based on how much they can afford monthly.
So speaking to that, yes, salaries haven't kept up with inflation, okay? But I think, looking back a year, 2 years, interest rates were around 2%, maybe even under 2%. Today a mortgage is 6%, give or take.
Yeah, 6 or 7%.
6 or 7%, right? So that
when I started buying real estate in the early 2000s, I was paying 7.3, 7.4,
which was a great rate at the time.
$280,000 home in Toronto.
Right.
So I guess you can't really.
Yeah.
But I was only making $50,000 a year at that time. So.
Right. So the way I'm seeing it, I'm saying, you know what? Rates have gone up from 2 to 6.
Yeah.
But prices, yes, they've come down a little bit, but I don't think it's anywhere indicative of the rise in interest rates.
That's correct.
And that's mainly because of demand.
Yeah.
The people coming in this country,
supply
right?
and demand, but
supply and demand, right? So we don't have enough supply to support all the new immigration coming in this country. So if prices have only dropped, let's say 10%, give or take, in the last 1 year, what will happen when rates start to come back down? And this is the part that we're trying to educate our clients. Now is the time to get into this while there are no bidding wars. You can actually see a house twice before you make an offer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how
and have an inspection.
And have an inspection, right? So that's the educational piece that we're providing to purchasers.
Well, that's so funny. The last guest we geeked out a little bit on economics.
Yeah.
And I said, all this doom and gloom you're talking about. He goes, is it still a good time to buy a home?
Yes.
He's like 100%. He's
Wow.
like, I am buying right now, and here's the reasons why.
Yeah.
So if you guys missed last week's, definitely go back and we'll put the link down below. I mean,
Right.
you should be able to find it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that I agree with as well.
There's a structural deficit of housing in Ontario.
Yes.
And it's why people continue to buy apartment buildings at the rate they do, even though, because I know you've owned apartment buildings.
Yeah. Yes.
I know I priced that one and it sold for exactly what
you said.
what I said it
did.
was going to sell
Thank
for.
You.
You should have just hired me. But
I
anyways,
know.
damn people being their own real estate agents. So you've owned
I needed a good agent for that one.
Yeah. That's why you came to me for advice. I get it. You've owned apartment buildings.
Yes.
You get that space.
Yes.
Now, are you seeing better deals on apartment buildings right now? Are you still looking?
No, I'm not looking for apartment buildings because now what I'm focusing on is creating density. So I'm seeing bigger returns on those kind of projects. So it's where
Like, okay, well, like that's very obscure. What
Okay.
the hell are you talking about?
Okay, so right now I've got 2 of these projects on the go. It's
What are these projects?
single-family homes
Yeah.
being converted to triplexes
Okay.
and dropping a garden suite in the back.
So you're going from 1 to 4.
1 to 4,
Okay.
right? So
let's talk numbers. 'Cause
Yeah.
you know I like numbers.
yes, I do.
I should have told you to have your numbers prepared,
I-
but I ignored those 5 emails. So
Yes, you did.
I responded to one of them. Anyways,
5 minutes ago.
it was yesterday. Anyways, moving forward.
Yes.
Converting 1 to 4.
Yeah.
Because I think the converting 1 to 2 is dead right now because there's no money in it.
Yes.
So converting 1 to 4, what's your purchase price on the
Okay, so the one. Well, let's talk about
real numbers?
Real numbers. Purchased it last November. It's
Okay.
been vacant for about $550.
Okay.
It's a single-family home
In Hamilton?
in Hamilton
Okay.
on the mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just been like as we speak.
So it's been vacant for
a whole
11
year,
months.
a year. You could call it a year because
Call
it's
it a
okay.
year. Yeah.
Call it a year. It's been vacant,
$550.
right? We just finished triplexing it, the main
Okay.
unit. Okay, cost me.
So timelines on this. You
Yeah.
bought it last November.
Yep.
Like under contract, or you put it under contract in like August? and it
no,
closed?
it closed November.
Okay,
it
so-
closed November.
So let's say you put it under contract in August, late August, whatever.
Yes. Yes.
Or September. So get it under contract, and then did you get your permits? Like start your permits?
So that's a funny story because I bought that home with the intention of flipping it.
okay.
Okay, so I spent. It was a quick flip, 20 grand, 30 grand. I think I fixed it all up and I put it on the market to sell December, January. I forget.
Oh, and it was horrible market.
When it was horrible, so it didn't sell.
Yeah.
And a couple months before is when they passed the
Bill
the
21
Bill
or-
21 or whatever, and all of a sudden my head starts spinning. That's when I decided. So I pulled it off the market. So I changed strategies here.
Yeah.
Right. And I said I'm gonna go into converting this. So then it's been whatever 8-9 months till today.
Yeah.
I've converted it now.
So how long did it take you to get permits?
Yeah, it took a while.
What's a while? 6 months? I actually think that's
Yeah, about
pretty,
about 6 months.
I think
You're
that's-
right.
I think that's pretty quick.
Yeah, it was about 6 months.
6 months is good, and then so now we're 5 months. So you're
May-
8 months in.
Yes,
So in those 3 to 4 months,
Yes.
you've constructed.
the triplex is done.
So did you add on?
No.
So it's an
it's a
existing house,
two-story house
two-story
with a
house.
basement.
Okay.
Each floor became a unit.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So that's completed as of today. The cost, let's call it 150,000. Yeah.
Well, how did you triplex it for 150 grand?
So I don't need extra stairs or anything like that. I'm working with the existing
Yeah,
structure.
but two kitchens.
So one
Fire
of the kitchens was
separation.
already done, right? Because I
Okay.
did a flip. So if we build in that number, we're a little bit over. I'm not counting carrying costs here. I'm
No,
just
no.
calling-
We're gonna go back to that. I'm gonna
Right.
make sure we get that.
Yeah.
but- So okay, so 550, 150,
Yeah.
and then so you're at 700,
Yes.
and then your carrying costs are what, like 50-ish,
Sure.
and then that's probably including closing costs and everything
Yes.
on that.
Yes.
So you're like 750
50. Let's call it 750.
all in right now.
Yes.
And a new triplex on the mountain
Yeah.
will be $1 million,
I would think at least.
at least $1 million,
At
like
least, right?
conservative.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk your second deal. When did you buy that?
So that deal's not done yet. Now I'm going to put a garden suite in the back.
I
Now,
understand, but
you got
nobody
it.
gives a crap about the garden suite.
Okay.
Like that's just okay. What's that garden suite going to cost you?
200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's why nobody gives a shit about the garden suite. I don't think it adds any value other than cash flow.
Yeah. That's it, right? So
Yeah.
200,000 and I'm going to rent it for 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
That's my return.
Yeah, and it's fine. Like you make your
Yes.
whatever 10%
Sure. Yeah.
after expenses
Right.
return,
Yes.
which is fine if you don't like money.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you've made your value and taking it from 1 to 3.
1 to 3.
So
Yeah.
screw the 1 to 4 shit. Like,
Okay.
yeah, that's just ego. You want to put a garden suite in. I get it. Like, it's stupid. But you're better
This
off
is why we're friends.
Listen, you're better off taking that 200 grand and finding another
another one
two-story to turn into a
Yeah.
triplex, and
Yeah.
we've talked.
Yes, we've talked. But
this is why you buy me lunch,
Yes.
because I talk you out of stupid shit. So let's talk about the next project.
Yeah, so the next one was an existing duplex that I owned that I was intending on triplexing. Now that I've
another two-story property.
And no, this is a 1.5, but it's a really long property. So I was looking at half to the back would be one unit, to the front would be another, including the upstairs, and then the basement is another one.
Okay.
So that was going to be triplex. It's going to be, along with putting in a garden suite. So the permits on the first one came through, and then I figured out at that point that when you have a 3-unit, the special developmental fees is pretty much zero.
Yeah.
But as soon as you go from 3 to 4, it's $50,000. And then I'm like, you know,
why it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to do that, right? Because you might get.
And we have a housing crisis. We need more units.
Right.
It doesn't take any more infrastructure to put that unit in for the city or anybody.
That's right. But they want $50,000.
But they want $50,000.
And as an
they wonder why we have
investor,
inflation.
and as an investor, I go, well, $50,000. How long is that going to take me to recover it?
Yeah.
It might take me 50 months, assuming I get $1,000. That's not including interest and all that. So it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to keep that as a duplex. And again, these are mistakes that you make along the way.
Duplex or triplex?
No, I'm going to keep it as a duplex.
Okay.
And then put a garden suite. But you just got me thinking, maybe I should make that a triplex and not do the garden suite, because that might be cheaper.
100% cheaper. Well, I don't know what. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know what you have to construct there to make it happen.
Not a lot.
And
not 200,000 anyway.
And here's the difference: is the ADUs, accessory dwelling units, garden suites. They don't get, the bank doesn't look at them as favorably,
That's
right?
And
I would rather have it in one building, because like I could own 2 houses side by side.
Yes.
And the bank doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Like there's houses with one up front, one in the back. The bank doesn't like it.
They don't like it.
They don't like it. And they don't value it. Like you put $200,000 in, they're going to value it at $100,000.
Yeah. So anyways, good point. Go
find more 2-story houses that you can turn into triplexes.
Turn them into 3 and forget about the garden suite.
Yeah.
Right? Because anyways, there's different ways to think about it, and it does, you know, what you said, just light bulb went off.
Yeah. Well, because like that's a full VER.
Yes, it is.
Like you could probably still cash flow it at $1 million a triplex, no problem.
Yes.
Yeah, like what is your unit mix on that? Like 3 2-bedrooms or
2, 2, and 1.
2, 2, and 1.
2, 2, and 1 on the first one, and the other one's
so what are you,
4
like
and a
6,500, 7,000
That's the number.
a month? Yeah.
That's the number. Right? That's the number.
And you probably separated all utilities.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you're laughing.
It's good. It's good. So that's why I like that model right now.
Yeah.
The conversion. Also, you know, when you do construction, I have a crew, because, you know, I flip houses as well.
So are you still flipping houses today?
Yes, I am. I have one on the go in Glen Abbey also.
Oh, what are you flipping in Glen Abbey?
Yeah, so I got one. It was actually an exclusive. It was on market as an exclusive. I was driving to drop my daughter off at piano class, and I saw this house. I gave him a call, and immediately I knew it was undervalued.
Why didn't you call me? I need a house.
Yeah, you were busy that day.
Oh,
you were busy that day. You didn't pick up my call.
Unlikely. I don't answer emails. I pick up calls all the time.
Right. So I immediately knew it was a good deal. I hadn't seen the inside, but from the agent, what she said, I said, I'm sending an offer right now. She said, don't you want to see it? I said, no, here it is. And I bought it. You know, a lot of people say there's a lot of risk in flipping with the market heading down. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But, you know, the way I like to think about this, as long as you're, like, I'm always flipping, right? So as long as you're flipping all the time and you're in and out almost in the same market, you know what? That's if you get burned, you get burned. But you've got to be able to tolerate that burn. But I still have not been burned.
Let's talk Glen Abbey.
Okay.
What's the purchase price on that?
Yeah, so that one I bought for $950, $930, $950.
Detached?
Detached, yes.
You're the only one who's bought a detached property in Glen Abbey for less than $1 million.
Yeah. And the one before
in the last
that,
5 years,
and the one before that, I got that was a wholesale deal, but I got that one for $1.010 million.
In Glen Abbey.
Not Glen Abbey, Iroquois.
Okay, it's still a good area.
It was still a good one. Yeah.
So
that one sold, but then this one's now.
So $950. What's it? 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
3-bedroom, 2-bath. Yes,
1,600-ish
1.5
square feet.
Yeah, maybe 15. Yeah,
maybe 15.
Yeah.
Okay, so you bought it 950.
950.
When did you close?
Well, I'm still almost finished renovating.
When did you close to buy it?
Oh, 6 weeks, maybe
6 weeks
maybe
ago?
yeah,
Okay,
6 weeks
so like
ago.
end of August, middle of August?
Yeah, I think it was September. Yeah, end of August. That's
Sure.
right. Yeah.
And you're renovating. What's your renovation budget on that?
I'm getting it all done for $70,000. It's a great deal. Yeah.
Well, like, hold on. Are you just importing like workers from Mexico or like flying like from India or somewhere? Like, are you bringing in these guys that are like you're just like putting them up in the basement?
They get to stay there.
Like,
Yeah, free accommodations.
Live for free. I'll feed you. You have a roof over your head. Come for like a tourist visa, and we'll send you home after you renovate.
No, none of that. But these guys are on my crew, and I'm giving them multiple jobs, so they go from job to job. So the pricing is good, and I know the pricing before I buy the house, because sometimes you don't have that luxury of bringing contract.
So what are you doing? Kitchen, bath,
kitchen.
Floors,
so in this
paint,
house we needed a roof.
Okay.
We needed a new washroom in the basement because there wasn't one, but everything else was kind of cosmetic.
Yeah.
Flooring, paint, baseboards, new kitchen.
Yeah.
But 70. That's maybe it's 80, but we're under 100 anyway all day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So when's this going to get listed?
Next week.
Next week.
Next week.
And how much?
And I'm hoping for 1.2.
Okay.
Right? It's a single car garage.
So you're going to make 80-ish.
Sure. And if I do 5 of those a year, great.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. You know, I learned that this one of my mentors, one of my financial planners, he said, you don't always have to hit a home run.
Yeah.
Right?
Singles.
And that used to be what I was thinking in the previous market. You know, markets are going up and you make
you bought this for $950. It went up 30% in when you bought it to when you
when you
renovated
closed
and sold it, right?
Yeah, and you didn't even have to do anything. So
that's
those are
it.
home runs, and we got used to that. So now,
Some people did.
well, I did.
I have a long-term memory though.
Right.
I remember back in the 2000s, and
Right.
90s, and stuff like that.
Right. So now, I set my bar lower. I'm not looking to necessarily hit 6 figures. It could be a lot lower. It could be 50,000. It could be 25 even. I'm okay with that. But I'm trying to hit multiple singles, which adds up at the end of the day.
Well, you would take 25,000 because you have a crew you got to keep busy.
That's
and
the
if
other
you don't
thing.
keep them busy, they're going to go find other work, and then they're going to find out that you're underpaying them, and then you're going to be screwed.
Yeah. So that's kind of
They might watch this video.
Oh crap! This is bad. This is bad.
I doubt it. Nobody will find this on YouTube. Jeez.
Yeah. So, but nevertheless, those are the numbers.
So you're flipping 4 or 5 houses a year.
Yes.
You're gonna convert a couple.
And that's my personal long-term plays. So I have the buy and hold strategy. I'll do a couple of flips on the side, but my main business is being a realtor, and just like you. Right. So
you think my main business is being a realtor?
I have no idea.
My main business is being a YouTube celebrity
and hanging out at your cottage.
$70 a month from YouTube. So.
Well, we could retire on that. But, and hanging out on your cottage.
Buy a case of beer anymore.
No,
Jeez.
I know.
I didn't even get to the cottage this summer. Jeez.
Plain water. That's all he gives me.
Yeah.
I come all the way here and I get a cup of water.
He comes 200 meters across the street from his office.
Jeez.
He didn't even grab us Tim's on the way. Jeez. Must be rough out there.
Recession.
Team, investing. I want to go back and I want to talk about your team.
Yeah.
How's your team members? How are they doing in this market?
Yeah. So we're all I don't want to use the word struggling because that wouldn't be the right word. But in general, we're at 50% of production from last year. Wow. Which is a big drop.
That's a huge drop.
Now, we do a fair amount of business, so I'm not going to complain about it, but at the end of the day, it's a 50% drop.
If you're at Keller Williams, you'd grow this year.
Yes, we'd be less than, no. We have this banter thing.
We have this banter thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But yeah, so 50% of last year.
Yeah.
So when we're trying to grow at 10, 15, 20%, which is what our targets are, well, we're way behind.
So I know how you're dealing with it. You'll just flip a couple more properties,
right,
and do whatever.
Yeah.
How are they dealing with it?
So similar. I mean, they're not flipping and they're not doing any of that stuff. But we're trying to encourage and stay motivated and hold a course. But, this is the same question I'm getting from a lot of my clients as well. We're in investment properties, the mortgage is here, and our rents are here. And, what do we do, right? And, we talk about raising rents the legal way if you can, add storage or charge for parking or whatever, and, those kind of things. Look at your expenses, maybe self-manage if you have a property manager, trying to cut some costs. We talk about mortgage, go back to the bank and re-amortize if you can.
Yeah.
We talk about all that. So it's the same strategies. They also have investment properties, and it's the same strategies. But do not sell is my guidance to everybody in this market, because I think you're selling at the absolute bottom. So
what do you think the real estate market's going to do for the next 6 months? Because here's why I asked this. We had a little, they were doing some training over here, and as I do, I just poke my head in and sit down and be a jackass.
Yes.
But it was all scripting.
Yeah.
So they're talking about, we want to wait for the spring market. We think the spring market's going to be better.
Right. So I don't think you wait for the spring market. I think you start now talking to your clients in that, right? But if you're looking at prices, I believe it'll start increasing.
You think it's going to go up?
Yes, absolutely.
If we get another quarter point increase.
No, I'm not talking about the quarter point increase. I'm talking about when they say they're done raising rates, which is exactly what happened earlier this year when we thought they were done with raising rates. You saw markets take off, multiple offers, January, February, March, April.
No, it was April and May.
Okay.
We had 6 weeks.
Yes.
We had a good 6 weeks, and then they raised rates, and it basically shut off in June.
So, that's what I'm trying to say.
Do you think people are once bitten, twice shy, though?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of pent-up demand and fear, so people are on the sidelines waiting to jump in. That's what I really think. And they need some guidance. People need guidance.
You think the spring market's going to be better?
Yes. Well, let me rephrase that. I think at the minute that we talk about rates are done raising, that's your signal.
But do you think they don't raise it high enough that it'll cause people to be like, okay, it's just not going to work at that?
No, because
that's what they have to do. You know that, right? Like, that's what they literally have to do to break inflation.
Well, I think we're breaking through right now with prices the way they are. People, I read a statistic the other day. 1 out of 3 people are, living almost paycheck to paycheck, and they can't.
It's always been that way.
I'm living. No, I mean, people are cutting back. There's people cutting back.
We're cutting back, and then it goes to people are cutting back. It's funny though. Like I go to the gym with this guy. He has a couple rental properties, and he's complaining about variable rate mortgages. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, Vic, has it changed anything you do in your life? And he's like, no,
not really.
I'm like, so yeah, you don't go out. You still go out for dinner. You still do this, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm talking to like the top
1%, right? 1%. So it might be a different market if you're,
I think this is going to go on longer than most people think. I think today's a great time to buy real estate.
Yes.
Because I think you can get cash flow at today's interest rates, and even if you lock in for a couple years, gives a shit.
Yes.
Right, and I do think interest rates will be lower in 2 to 3 years than they are today.
Yes. I think Q3 for sure. Of next
You're talking short term. I'm talking fixed rates.
Absolutely.
Because right now I'm talking CMHC, in 1 year I got to lock in, I got to do whatever,
Yes.
But I don't know. Like, it's funny though. Like, I had the conversation with the seller, and I'm like, okay, we can wait for the spring market.
Right.
But what's your motivation, number one? Like, where are you going when you sell this? Okay, they're going to a property they already own. Amazing. So now you're going to carry that property from now till spring.
What's the cost of that?
What happens if it goes down another $100,000?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And listen, the price you want to price it at won't cause it to sell. And if you want that price, are you willing to wait 5 to 7 years to get it? Because you might have to.
It might.
Right? Or do you want to sell it today at a price that will cause it to sell?
Yeah. I know. And then, people look back at a year from now and they say, at the peak, it was up here. I want that.
Well, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle.
Yeah.
And we're living in different times now,
Yes.
You ever watch that movie Draft Day?
No.
With Kevin Costner? Dude, great movie.
Okay.
But there's a trade. He makes a trade. It's a stupid trade, whatever.
Yeah.
Gets on the phone. Okay, let's do the deal. And he's like, well, that deal's off the table.
Yes.
We live in a different world than we did 30 seconds ago.
Right.
And we live in a different world than we did a year ago.
Yes. No, I know. And that's the hard part for some people to realize, right? They're waiting for markets to go up. But what they're forgetting is the house they're going to buy is also going to go up if that's the case.
Yeah,
right?
Go up or down.
Or down. But they're both moving at the same time. And I think that's the educational piece we as realtors, professionals, need to educate our clients, because they don't get that sometimes.
Yeah.
And, so.
Well, and, a lot of people go to analysis paralysis or whatever, and it's just like,
yeah,
sometimes it's still a great time to buy.
Yes.
Buy and wait. Like, even if you overpay a bit now and it goes down, gives a shit. In 20 years, you'll look like a genius.
You look like a genius. No, 100%. Like, I sincerely believe that, and I know with the immigration, we don't have enough houses. So what does that mean?
So you pro-immigration or not?
I don't care as much, No, I'm kidding. To a limit.
Yeah.
To a limit, yeah. But right now,
you think it's too much or too little right now?
I think it's good right now because it's going to help stimulate the economy back. But then maybe they want to pull it back. So right now,
I don't think they ever pull it back.
Yeah, it keeps going higher and higher.
That's the thing. When you implement something, I find that the government has a hard time pulling back because they get addicted to the outcome that is happening because of this, right?
Like, for example, with the student market, right? So we have a lot of students coming in. And as I read into it, I found out why they're increasing the amount of students. It's because Canadians, university students, they capped off the fees at whatever it was. So now fees have gone up. So in order to get more, they need more immigrant students to pay the higher amount.
I read that. It's like 65% of their operating budget is now coming from foreign students.
Foreign students. So it's a promise that was made, and now how do you turn that around? You know,
and they're talking about trying to do it, like limiting student visas.
Yeah.
But
then how will they carry the costs, right?
Well, that's it.
So
it's
that's
like, now how do they fix that?
Yeah.
And it's, they get addicted to it. It's like cheap debt. They got addicted to it. Yes. And that's why we're in this situation right now, because they got addicted to cheap debt.
Cheap debt. So
thanks everyone for watching this whole video. If you want to meet up with great people like Ash, you got to come to our meetups. And if you mention Ash Alice in the comments when you sign up, we're going to give you a free ticket. That's a $15 value that we're going to give to you for free for you mentioning Ash. All right, everyone. We'll see you there. The link is in the description below.